On skateboarding. History of skating. In 1940 through 50, an exciting new action sport began its evolution. This sport would eventually be called skateboarding. No one really knows who made the first skateboard and where they did it, but it was likely created by surfers who wanted something similar to surfing when the waves were flat. For a few years, skateboards were simply roller skates attached to boards, but by the 60s, a number of small surf shops had developed skateboards that looked like mini surfboards. The sport was expanding as America's youth adopted it as a new fun thing to do. It grew so much that by 1964, the first skateboard magazine came out called the Quarterly Skateboarder. The magazine lasted 4 issues and was resumed later in 1975. During the 60s, skateboarding exploded in the media, and a company called Mahaka sold $10 million worth of skateboards between 1963 and 65. However, after its boom, skateboarding took many hits. In 1966, many sources reported that skateboarding was dangerous, and Skateboarder magazine stopped publication. Parents were reluctant to buy their children skateboards, which were rumored to be dangerous. Popularity for skateboarding dropped and remained low until the 70s. Around 1972, a new development made skateboarding rise in popularity once again. This new development was Frank Nasworthy's polyurethane wheel, which was significant improvement from the clay or metal wheels of the early skateboards. All through the 70s, popularity of skateboarding was on the rise. Many companies began to produce trucks, or skateboard axles, especially for skateboards, as well as widening the decks of boards to give the skater more control. After a large skate competition in the mid-70s, there were numerous skate competitions for cash prizes all across California. Around the same time, skaters began introducing a kind of skating called vert, or ramp skating. Many skate parks installed large ramps, which led to the closure of lots of skate parks because of liability concerns, and thus, popularity again dropped in the early 1980s. During the 80s, after the invention of the no-hands aerial, later known as the ollie, a trick which a skater performs by popping the board in the air and leveling it out in a sort of jump. It was invented by Alan Gelfield. Also at this time, many new tricks were being performed on vert ramps, mainly consisting of launching on and off a ramp and landing back on the same ramp again. However, many people could not afford to build vert ramps or didn't have access to this form of skating. As a consequence of this, a new form of skating emerged. This was called street skating. This new form took greater and greater hold all through the 80s as vert skating was on the decline. But as street skaters had no parks to skate, they sought out shopping malls, private businesses, and residents as their spots, and thus skateboarding was banned on many public institutions and government property, also by private property owners. Again, skateboarding took a massive hit and declined in popularity, as the highly technical street skating and declining vert skating hold less and less appeal for mainstream people. During the 90s, skateboarding is dominated by street skating. As a result of this, the design of the board changes to accommodate the new styles. These boards are faster, lighter, and more maneuverable than the previous models. This new form of skateboard becomes standard by the mid-90s. Since the 2000s, skateboarding has become immensely popular, and many new developments in skateboards and tricks that can be performed are drawing in more and more skaters every day.